Oh my god, there were so many releases in 2023, and it seems like 2024 is going to be even busier with more releases. But I was able to narrow down all the niche offerings I was able to access, smell, wear, and enjoy. And I've got a list of 20 fragrances here for you from the niche world, all launched in 2023. These are the best of 2023 niche fragrances for me. Find out what they are coming right up. Thanks so much for tuning in. It's Sebastian. We're talking about the best of 2023 in niche. I'm going to go ahead and get started right away so we can get this video done fast. There might be a part 2 and a part 3. I'm going to try and do a designer and also all the honorable mentions that did not make the list. But let's get started with the House of AESOP. It's OURANON, this one right here. So they are ending this collection of series of fragrances at AESOP. And apparently this is the last fragrance in this series. They'll most likely launch more fragrances. And personally, I feel like this is the best of the best. There's a bit of a classic edge about this one, but for sure, the DNA of the fragrances has been kept. Barnaby, I think that's his name, Barnaby Fillion, is the perfumer of most of the fragrances of AESOP, and I think he's done a great job with this one. Definitely one of my favorites. It's also quite masculine leaning, and again, as I said, it has a bit of classic touch in here with loads of myrrh, lavender, hay, chamomile, tonka, frankincense, petitgrain, patchouli, elemi. So if you're familiar with the fragrances of AESOP, you'll definitely see the DNA here, but when you compare them side by side, for me this is really great. It's great from the last several releases. I feel like the last one I didn't really care for too much. I think it was called Glow. And then the one before that was pretty good, but this particular release is super, super sexy. And again, kind of classic touches. And it reminds me of male fragrances or masculine fragrances of yesteryear. Ones that were more like aromatic and resinous and green and fir tree fragrances that have these kind of notes. So this is a great offering from this house, AESOP OURANON. Check that out if you don't know that one. That's a pretty good house. Although the fragrances are pretty small, and so it's 50 ml, so it might add up to the price point. But again, if you have the money and the budget, check that out. It smells fantastic. And then speaking of very expensive fragrances, this one's quite expensive, but I think it's one of the best of the year. Jubilation 40. In the Extrait de Parfum concentration. It's super, super concentrated and smells fantastic. For me, I've mentioned this one does have that kind of menthol, eucalyptus-like touch here. It's pretty prominent when you first smell it. It's totally different than the original as well, as the original has been watered down and thinned, and a lot of you guys are complaining about it, but wait until you get your nose on this one. Man, it's super potent and absolutely amazing with really, really great longevity. It has similar notes, but everything has been turned around, and some things are intensified. Like this is very ambery resinous, and so green and camphor comes to mind. And of course, I'm not going to say it's like Vicks Vapor Rub, but that idea comes in with the notes they're using here. That's what I get with it. But it's a Opoponax, Blackberry, Orange, Patchouli, Moss, Frankincense, Oud, Myrrh, Ambergris, Cistus, Labdanum, Davana, Blackcurrant. Super fantastic release. One of the best from AMOUAGE. This is Jubilation 40. Moving on to Maison Crivelli Oud Maracuja. I think this is solid oud fragrance and a really great fruity oud fragrance, and definitely deserves to be on the list here. It has notes of passion fruit, Ebelia, saffron, Turkish rose, patchouli, benzoin, leather, amber, vanilla, labdanum, akigala wood. I did a video on fruity oud fragrances recently. Those are somewhat more exciting than your traditional oud and rose together. If you like the idea of fruity oud fragrances, definitely catch that video because this was featured in that video, ranked pretty high, and I think it's a fairly solid release. Has great longevity, but it's very easy to wear, very fruity, and fruity fragrances make fragrances to be very fun and playful and energetic and vibrant against the kind of really dark, woody, resinous kind of notes that are a lot in here. And of course, it's been brightened up with the fruit. So this is Oud Maracuja from the house of Maison Crivelli. Up next, we've got a fragrance from the house of Goldfield and Banks. It's Ingenious Ginger, for a fantastic ginger fragrance with some warm notes in there, under there to kind of warm up the fragrance, where it's kind of not only the ginger zing and also the floral touches of the ginger. Created by Hamid Muradi Kashani. He did a really great job with this one. I absolutely love it. It smells super fantastic with ginger flower accord, bergamot, lemons, magnolia, jasmine, rose, mandarin, sandalwood, patchouli, vanilla, musk, and cashmere. And it wears really, really great on me. It smells fantastic. It's a perfect fragrance to wear, the seasons of spring, summer, and autumn. But, you know, you can wear it in the winter time as well because the smell is really, really intoxicating. And the whole idea of ginger is super fantastic in here against the kind of warmer, more ambery, vanillic, and earthy notes in the dry down. Really great fragrance, Ingenious Ginger from the house of Goldfield and Banks. Now this next one I haven't spoken too much about, but I'm highlighting it here as one of the best discoveries or best releases of 2023. It's Profumo di Firenze Fior de Pane. Are you familiar with this one? Yeah, it's super delicious, guys. Absolutely love this one. It is a realistic experience of bread in fragrances. It has bread notes, Cypriol, vanilla, cedar, musk, iris, violet leaves, tulips, orange blossom, bergamot, vetiver, tonka. But if you like the idea of a bready gourmand, steaming hot, taken out of the oven, or the smell of a bakery or a patisserie, come to life when you just walk into the bakery or the patisserie and it's all the bread being baked. Not only bread, but all kinds of bready things. This is one of the best examples of that kind of a fragrance. Does it remind me of Sweetie Oud? It's a similar idea, but I don't think they're very smelling similar to me. But either way, this is Profumo di Firenze Fior de Pane. Check it out if you don't know that one. This next one is Reine de Saba's Divine Temptation. This one right here. Are you familiar with this one? So I discovered this house at Zor in Milano and instantly was drawn to their bottle and especially their caps, as you can see. This was the fragrance I first discovered at the store, and I had to walk out with this one. This was amazing. So it's been one of my favorite fragrances here for a while for this year. And it's amber, figs, cinnamon, rum, cloves, gaiac wood, Peru balsam, patchouli, and vanilla. And the combination is boozy, holiday spice, a bit fruity, vanillic, and also some earthy notes when it's drying down, getting ambery as well. But if you like the idea of a very spicy, fruity, boozy, and also kind of a warm experience from the fragrance, definitely check out Divine Temptation from the house of Reine de Saba. And also go catch my video. I did an overview of that house with Joe. We go through the fragrances and discuss all of the fragrances that the brand had up to that point. Up next, we've got a fragrance from the house of Essential Parfums. It's Patchouli Mania, this one right here. So I first discovered the fragrance and the tease that Essential Parfums did at Aix-en-Provence earlier this year in Milan. And finally, it was launched around Pitti Fragranza in September, and yes, it does not disappoint. It is a great patchouli, but not necessarily uber chocolatey and a bit nutty because it has the hazelnut note. There's definitely cacao here to give you that kind of, bit of chocolatey edge, but it's not like psychedelic. There's a bit more freshness here with the patchouli, not so warm because the psychedelic has like vanilla and it has ambery notes and resins and things like that. So against the patchouli, it creates like chocolate cake experience. Here with this one, it's more aromatic and earthy, woody rather than that really dense ambery chocolate cakiness. But yeah, you got vetiver, cacao, hazelnuts, davana, clearwood, tea, coriander, cetalox, and of course the star note patchouli. I think Patchouli Mania is definitely one of the best from this house next to Divine Vanille. I absolutely love it. In fact, this might be my favorite from the house of Essential Parfums because I'm obsessed with patchouli. And it's created by Fabrice Pellegrin, and he's done a patchouli fragrance for Diptyque, the Tempo, I believe that's him. I don't think it smells very close to that, but it's kind of a similar idea, whereas that goes green. Here it's more nutty. Either way, Patchouli Mania, a really wonderful offering from Essential Parfums. Check it out if you don't know it. And speaking of patchouli, this one is also a bit of a patchouli bomb. This is Passoir Extrait from the house of BDK. A great release. Absolutely love it. And I love the intensity and the extract qualities of this one because it's super potent and it's an extract to be exact. I was never a big fan of the original, but I finally got to circle back to it now that I'm enjoying this one. I see the connection. They're definitely connected for sure. And this is basically an intensified version of the original. And I love this intensified version of it. They have quince chutney here, tangerine, cashmeran, jasmine, pear, patchouli, black pepper, ginger, cocoa, orange blossom, vanilla, and benzoin for one super intoxicating combination of notes to give you a very sexy wear. Really great. And I've actually gotten compliments on this one. I have. Lady stopped me once, and then my barbershop really enjoyed the smell on me as well. That guy loves beast mode fragrances, and I had to, you know, turn him on to this one. I don't think he bought this though yet, at least yet, not yet. But either way, Pastissoir Extrait from the house of BDK. Next up, it's Rosendo Matou's 1970, probably the best of the 4 new year-focused fragrances. And the reason I like this one is not only because it's the year I was born, 1970, but it's a great, delicious gourmand. It's citric notes, fruity notes, fresh notes, woods, spices, earthy notes, chocolate, amber, musk, vanilla, tonka. For me, it's almost like taking speculoos, cookie butter, and adding chocolate to it like Nutella, minus the hazelnuts, mixing it all up and smelling what's, you know, what concoction you create with those 2 ingredients. And that's kind of how this wears for me. It's kind of like a thick, creamy, and dense kind of a gourmand, something that you're mixing to create some kind of a food thing. So it's super delicious and very, very yummy with the notes. Again, it's a gourmand, and it's my year, so it's a given I'm liking it, but it's not just because of the year I was born. It's just a really well done, delicious gourmand, and something that's definitely very cozy, comforting, and also very inviting. It definitely is the kind of fragrance people enjoy and they like the smell of, and they like to wear it and things like that. So 1970 from the house of Rosendo Matou, wonderful offering from 2023. So up next, we've got a fragrance from the house of Nuit Nomade. It's Sugar Leather, this one right here. Sugar Leather is a really great offering from this house. They launched 2. The second one didn't, or the other one did not make the regular list. It's probably on the bonus honorable mentions video if I end up doing that. But Sugar Leather for me is basically taking that kind of a Wajan like angel share like DNA and adding it to loads of leather. So you've got the masculine side and more of the unisex feminine side with some of the notes, and it really does play a nice balancing act. So if you like fragrances like Wajan, angel share, you'll probably recognize the smell here. But the leather is pretty intense, pretty potent, and if you're not into leather, you might be turned off by this one. But I think the combination really does work great and creates for a very unisex offering, nicely balanced with the masculine side and more of the feminine side. But the notes are cinnamon, caramel, leather, labdanum, amorous, and it smells super delicious. So Sugar Leather from the house of Nuit Nomade. Check that out if you don't know it. This next one's from the house of Les Eaux Primordiales. It's Vanille Supermassive in the Extrait de Parfum concentration. So I got to discover this at Harrods in September, was really into it. I really loved it because it's a vanilla fragrance, and vanilla was the year of 2023, I think. So many vanilla fragrances. Originally, I thought it was pistachio, but I think it was dominated by lots of vanilla fragrances. In fact, I have a video on the channel of a lot of different vanilla fragrances that were launched in 2023 if you want to catch that video. But this, once again, it's a vanilla fragrance that's not your typical sugary, sweet, syrupy, ambery, molassesy kind of a vanilla. It's a bit more dry, and it's a bit molecular as well, and there's a really great sexy trail with this one. And when I first experienced it, I was given some samples at Harrods, and I wore it, and London was boiling when I got there. Extreme heat wave. And for me, this fragrance really shines in the heat. It is an extrait de parfum, has really great longevity, but it's not one of those fragrances that has the biggest sillage or cloud. So if you're not into these kind of fragrances that don't scream too loud, you might not like this, but as a smell, it's super intoxicating. Really, really wonderful. And it's a kind of an original vanilla fragrance that I actually really enjoy the smell of, but it's vanilla, labdanum, caramel, patchouli, elemi, ambroxan, cinnamon, white musks, bergamot, and fir balsam. Really wonderful offering from this house. This is Vanille Supermassive. I should also say this is now selling at San Francisco's Ministry of Scent, and I think they're pretty much the only retailer that's selling this brand. And this brand is one of my favorite discoveries of 2022, 2023. Really a great brand, and I think they're going to start rolling out in various stores. If you end up buying a bottle of Vanille Supermassive at Ministry of Scent, they will throw in a free mini of the same fragrance. I don't know if it's what size is it? It does say 11 ml bottle right there. So yeah, I mean, you can have the original to keep at home and travel with the little one. And I'll have the info in the info box if you are curious to get this one. But it's a great scent. Really one of my favorite offerings of this year. And that brand I'm really, really super excited about. Either way, Vanille Supermassive. It's an extrait de parfum concentration, by the way. Next up, it's Soradora's Jani. This one right here for a really delicious tartan experience. Are you guys familiar with this super delicious dessert from France? It's basically like a in the pan apple upside down kind of a pie cake kind of a thing. I actually really love them. When I go to France, I especially have to get one, at least have the one experience with it. And for me, Gianni definitely creates that experience in perfume form. So it's cinnamon, baked apples, puff pastry, caramel, almonds, vanilla, nutty notes, white musk, osmanthus, apricots, plums, and peaches. It's super fruity, really, really fruity, but you really have the baked apple touch here, the cinnamon in here, and the puff pastry for that kind of doughy experience, and the caramel almonds gives you that sticky, caramel, sugary touch with the, you know, the nuttiness of the almonds. Really wonderful offering. Gianni is definitely one of my favorites from that house. If you don't know it, check that one out. The next one is Serge Lutens Écrin de Fumée. This one right here. I really love the way this fragrance turned out, and really have been trying to push for it because I bought this earlier in 2023 from France. And as I was mentioning, not a lot of people are talking about the brand, but maybe it's because they've been pulled out of North America. No distribution here, and I think Serge Lutens has amazing fragrances. Their fragrances are really, really wonderful, especially with smells. They're not the biggest performing as in like projection and sillage, but as far as smells go, really, really original. I've got a YouTube short on this one. You can go catch it to get some more information about it. But for me, this is mostly about the cacao, which creates the chocolatey touch, the tobacco, which is a bit dirty, and then the rum for the booziness. There's definitely smoky touches in here. The tobacco, the way they're using the tobacco in here, it's creating a smokiness, booziness, and of course the chocolatey touches from cacao. Really wonderful. This is one of 3 tobacco fragrances from Serge Lutens now, which is really awesome. So that's Écrin de Fumée from the house of Serge Lutens. Up next, it's one of my favorite fragrances from Byredo now. It has become a favorite fragrance of mine. It's Animalique from Byredo. Absolutely love the way this smells. Really, really great with the whole powdery effect. The violet that is a signature for Byredo fragrances, along with white suede, amber, mimosa, lemons, and bergamot. Really, the way this fragrance wears on me, I absolutely love it. Really love the way it smells. Really, really smells amazing. And the mimosa, violets, the suede touch here and the amber creates for a very powdery effect. And I think Byredo fragrances in general do have a powdery touch about them, and here it's a super powdery fragrance, really powdery. You got that very smooth buttery white suede note in here, really the kind that is really not necessarily like animalic, because it is called Animalique after all, but the fragrance doesn't wear animalic on me, at least on me it doesn't. But the suede comes off a bit fabric-like against all the notes, but it smells really fantastic. Really a great job with this one. Absolutely love it. And it wears really great on me, and for Byredo, it has great longevity. Again, Byredo fragrances are not the longest, a lot of people complain about the longevity. I was going to say they're not the biggest projecting and sillage, but for me, same with that. Doesn't have a lot of projection and sillage, but it has great longevity, and this is the kind of fragrance I like to be just like that. It's closer to the skin. So Animalique from Byredo, super amazing smell. If you haven't tried it, please do. The next one is from the house of Juicebox. It's Carioca Heart, this one right here. Man, this is so good, and this one also comes alive in the heat, smelling fantastic. So I come to realize that Julien Rasquinet does really great work with fruits, because this is a fruit bomb. It's peonies, the flower, along with mangoes, pineapple, lemons, sandalwood, rum, labdanum, vanilla, and ambroxan. If you don't know Juicebox, they are music-inspired fragrances. This one is inspired by bossa nova music. So I think the inspiration is really, really great. You've got the boozy rum note in here, and the fruits and the flowers, the citruses, and of course the warm amber and musky notes of ambroxan that's in here. A really, really great work from Julien Rasquinet. Totally different than what I've smelled from what he's done before, and I like that about this. So it's Carioca Heart and Juicebox's Carioca Heart. That was featured in Mystery Box. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the sample. The next one, I don't have my bottle with me, unfortunately. It's been packed for me to take to Japan, and I don't have it, but I'm going to talk to you about it here. It's Angelo's Creations Olfactives, and it's called Caricia. Caricia was featured in Mystery Box, and for me this is one of the most complex fragrances I've put my nose on. It's super, super long lasting, great projection and sillage as well, and uber smoky tobacco. Really, really intense. Lots of tobacco leaves, Bulgarian tobacco, beeswax, Omani frankincense, acacia, English oak wood, Madagascan vanilla, and you name it, more and more notes. It's so complex when you wear this one. It reminds me a little bit of Smoke from Acro, but much more intense, much more concentrated. And smoke doesn't really have a lot of depth. It does wear a bit thin, but here, if you like that fragrance, check out Caricia, because it is so intense and uber potent that I think you're going to enjoy it. It does have a bit of gourmand kind of a undertone, and I think the smoke and tobacco touches does cover it up quite a bit, but eventually it comes through when you're wearing it. But a really great fragrance. If you haven't got your nose on it, please do. It was in mystery box. We shipped out 375, somewhere around there, mystery boxes, and I think some of you really did end up enjoying Caricia from Angelo's Creations Olfactives. Anyway, that is number 16, but this is an unranked list, as I said. The next one is Giardini di Toscana's Bora Bora. This one right here, once again, also in Scent Club mystery box, and this, again, really great. Even though Bianco Latte is probably the most popular from this house, I hear from the retailers that they sell out hundreds of bottles a week. It's just flying off the shelves. But for me, Bora Bora is also really delicious. Super amazing. It's tropical but also warm, spicy, and it does have that kind of milky lactonic quality that Bianco Latte has, but more in a tropical direction. And for me, it also has a bit of spice, like I'm getting like clove spice or something in this, which smells fantastic against all of the tropical notes. But it's ylang ylang, tiar flower, coconut milk, vanilla, apricots, jasmine, white musk, jasmolactone, caramel, and amber. If you haven't tried this one, do try it. I think you're going to love it. It's Giardini di Toscana's Bora Bora. Smells like a holiday, but more of a warm holiday. Tropical, warm, milky, lactonic. All right, we've got 3 more fragrances to talk about. These are all of my favorites from 2023 niche category here. We've got Sol Solgado from Thomas DeMonico. So I haven't featured the fragrance Raw Gold here because it was already launched several years ago. I'm talking about a brand spanking new release here in Sol Solgado out of the 3 new launches, which did include a redo of a Raw Gold, Sol Solgado, and then the third fragrance. I think this is a really solid linden blossom focused fragrance that smells wonderful with really great longevity. So it's linden blossom, mimosa, salt, sandalwood, smoked vanilla, ambergris, skin musks, heliotrope, cotton flower, accord. And I feel like even though we thought pistachio, vanilla were the year of the 2023 was the year of those ingredients, I feel like also linden blossom. I'm just discovering this note and really embracing it. And one of the best linden blossom fragrances is Sol Solgado by Thomas DeMonico. I hope you guys get to try it. It smells fantastic, really long lasting, and a really wonderful yellow floral note come to life on skin here with Sol Solgado. So Thomas DeMonico's Sol Solgado is wonderful. Next, one of my all-time favorite discoveries of 2023, it's Sado Naso from the house of Nasomato. Man, this is great. It's a great musk. It's almost like taking original musk from Kiehl's, marrying it with Carnicure from Marlou Paris, and then adding some sweeter notes and ambery touches and maybe some creamy sandalwood in there to give it more depth. That's what it smells like to me, and I think Nasomato did a great job with it. I absolutely love it, and I love the idea of sweet musks. It's a bit more personal. It's a bit more of a skin scent, but really job well done. I have heard polarizing things about this one. It's too gourmand, it's too animalic, so people pick up different things with this fragrance, so I think be the judge, try it yourself. I pick up a nice balance of both the sweet ambery side, woody side, creamy woody side, and the musky side. But there's unpublished notes here, but I think I'm getting sandalwood, tonka, amber, some animalic notes or musky notes, a tobacco, vanilla, maybe coffee even, but absolutely one of my favorite releases. Sado Naso, really great. And I think my number one, this is what I'm going to say. This is not a ranked list, but this fragrance is my number one favorite discovery of 2023. This is Sospiro's Dolce Melodia. And this is according to the year of release. There were some discoveries I had in 2023 that had launched earlier than 2023. This came out in 2023. It's my favorite discovery of 2023. Absolutely love it. It smells so great, such a long-lasting fragrance, and the kind of fragrance that I enjoy and get compliments from. Dolce Melodia is my favorite from Sospiro, hands down. I enjoy it over all the other ones like 100 times more. This is just like intoxicating and super delicious. Gardenia, mandarin, vanilla, white musk, sandalwood, orange, pear, blackcurrant. Man, the combination is so good. So good. It's like a fruity, floral, amber come to life on you. Maybe a bit tropical, maybe a bit warm and spicy, but the idea of the ambery touches, amber floral, fruity floral idea is really, really in your face here. It's so strong, but you can also wear it in summertime. I mean, especially if it's not uber hot. For me, it's got that nice balance of intense warmth and also the freshness with the fruits and the flowers. Such a great fragrance this is. This is definitely hands down my favorite release of 2023. It's Sospiro's Dolce Melodia, and that is it for you guys of my 2023 launches, favorite 2023 launches. Do let me know what your favorite 2023 launches were. Put a comment down below so I can find out. Let me know if you are a fan of these fragrances or if it's the first time you're hearing about them. Do put a comment down so I can find out. But also let me know if you'd like to do or you'd like to see a honorable mentions separate video. There's too many that I couldn't fit here, but there are a lot of great releases, but they just didn't make the best of the best of the best here with the 20. If you want to see a second video, a part 2, do let me know. Put a comment down below. It might be a bit before I shoot it, as the time of air of this video I'll be in Japan, but maybe I'll do it when I come back. And also stay tuned for a designer version, and the designer video will be more of a unisex / male video. We'll see. But either way, guys, thanks so much for watching today. If you have any questions or comments, list below. Please like this video. Please share it. Follow me on Instagram and Facebook, and I'll be back with more videos very soon. Have a good one. Goodbye. And also, Happy New Year to everyone. Bye-bye. Oh, the technicalities. I have left 2 fragrances from the House of Guerlain here as bonus options. They are part of my favorite and niche discoveries of 2023. What the technicalities are, where does Guerlain fall? Is it really considered niche? Is it a designer? Well, what I have done is I have put their L'Art et la Métier collection in the niche category, and I featured their signature line in the designer category. So I've got 2 fragrances that I wanted to highlight that I discovered in 2023 from Guerlain. And first one is Tobacco Honey. And a really delicious honey-focused fragrance, really super potent, intense, that kind of sweet and powdery honey experience here is one of a kind and absolutely delicious. And what I like about this is its robustness and the real authentic honey smell. And it's really captured nicely. And you've got oud here, vanilla, tobacco, tonka, sandalwood, sesame, anise, and cloves. The tobacco is not as intense, but you'll notice it. It's not as really dirty ashy here, but you'll notice that it cuts right through the honey because the honey is super potent in this and absolutely sweet and delicious. So if you are a warm, spicy fan, love warm, spicy fragrances, and you like the idea of honey, this is one for you to try. And again, one of my favorite discoveries of 2023. And in the last couple of releases from Guerlain, I haven't really been as excited as I have been with Tobacco Honey. I know many of you warned me that it was too sweet, but I like my sweet fragrances. And with Tobacco Honey, it really does work. And again, it's one of the best from Guerlain's L'Art et la Métier collection. So Tobacco Honey, great offering from that house. If you haven't got your nose on that, please do. And then I want to highlight this one as well from the House of Guerlain. It's Vanille Planifolia 21. It is an extract, it is super potent, it is super pricey, but it's done very well. What I like about this one, you can wear it on its own. You can also use it as a booster for other fragrances. You know, layer this down, let it dry, and spritz something kind of similar, maybe vanillic, or something that complements the vanilla that's in here. This is quite spicy. There's vanilla, musk, spicy notes, Opoponax, which is an ambery accord from Guerlain. Yes, it's ambery. It does get ambery in the base. It does become resinous ambery. For sure, I experience it. But there's a major spice edge with this one and creates a very delicious, intoxicating combination. So I think it's quite nice. This is a really great release. I don't know if I would layer it with Tobacco Honey. For me, it doesn't sound like it would make sense as far as the smells go because I mean, you could, because the Tobacco Honey has vanilla in it. But for me, I'm thinking it might clash. I think more like with the Vanille Planifolia, layer it with something like a Spirituous Double Vanille or Angelique Noir or any other vanilla fragrance that you have that needs boosting up, you know, like to intensify and things like that, I think the Vanille Planifolia will work really great. So just highlighting these here as a bonus option, even though I've thought about putting them in the main list, but I'm giving them to you as great options. Fragrances released in 2023 from the House of Guerlain. Thank you.